As the clock strikes 7, the vibes are alive. Inner circles here where voices thrive. Turn on your screens, let the magic unfold. Listening and healing as stories are told. Come on, come on, this is your time. No topics too tough, just heed the call. From mental health woes to justice we seek. Together we rise for the strong and the meek. A safe space for all, let's lift every voice. Inner Circle podcast where hearts unite. Sharing our truths, bringing hope to the light. Community strong, we're never alone. Together as one, we've created a home. With laughter and love, we break down the walls. No topics too tough, just heed the call.
Good evening, everyone, and welcome to the Tuesday edition of the Inner Circle podcast. I'm your host, Abe Kamara. I'm here with my two favorite people, my man Peterson from the winning city of Chicago, and Miss B, the most dynamic Miss B. So tonight, we're going to switch it up a little bit. I know it's been a tense moment here in Minnesota and around the country, but tonight we're just going to switch it up a little bit. I know my man Peterson is grieving his Chicago Bears, it's grieving. So tonight we're just going to, we're just going to switch you a little bit and discuss sports, everything that's going on in the sports world. Then this year is a big sports year. The World Cup is coming to town, to North
I'm
America.
excited.
So we're gonna dive into that a little bit, obviously. So again, I'm your host, Abe Kamara, and Peterson, welcome to the show.
Yeah, good evening, guys. It's good to see you. And it's all quiet on the, I guess, eastern front, because southeast is that southeast of Minnesota. That's where Chicago is located. Yeah, it's all quiet out here. All attention is Minnesota as of late. But it's good to see you guys. And yesterday's show was really, really good and was informative. I just want to encourage people who have been sitting on the fence or hearing about Inner Circle podcast. Give us a try. Go ahead and listen. We bring great conversations here. So I'm going to have another one tonight.
Definitely. Miss B.
Oh, thanks, guys, for having me on tonight. When there's nothing else to take up my schedule, I'm always excited to hop on here on Tuesday nights and check you guys out and see how it flows. So yeah, yesterday was amazing. I just want to piggyback on what Peterson said. Please do check us out on all the places that you can catch a podcast. You'll be surprised. So yeah, I'm excited about tonight as well too.
Yeah, definitely. And I definitely echo you guys, and thanks to the panelists, thanks to Representative Huda, all those that provided great information. I think it was a good information for the community. Community learned a lot. The feedback has been very, very positive. So yes, agree with you guys and agree with you, Peterson, man. But we told everybody, we told the world that Inner Circle Podcast is going to be the immigrant hub. And it comes at a time where my man have wished my man has waged a serious war against the immigrant community here, so it's not an easy one. And today marks his 1 year in office, since he came back, and just been one thing after another against immigrants. But yesterday's show that was very, 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 very impactful, very, very it shone a lot of light on the things that are happening here in Minnesota and across the country, right? When you grab in Minnesota, they only sending you three places: Nebraska, Louisiana, or Texas. So it's like, so it's crazy. But yeah, I agree with you guys. Last night's show was really, really informative. But again, man, it just been a tense moment for everyone. But again, folks,
I want to bring something up, Abe.
go ahead.
You men in general, or I don't know, people have a tendency, and we probably do it too, women, that when we have women who are elected in office, we want to call them by their first name, and we tend to always call the men by their last name, right? And so no one ever says Barack, Obama, Bush, Trump. But the whole time people want to say Kamala, you want to say Ilhan, you want to say, well, AC, and it's Representative Hitzley, not Huda. And you made that mistake several times last night.
Here,
Representative Hitzley.
He just corrected
here,
himself because he
here
was
comes here comes
thinking.
the D. Here comes the DI folks who like to point out all the little nuances and stuff like that. Yeah, that's a right there. That's a DI movement right there, right? It's like they're trying to, point out all the okay. You know, I will take that. You know, here
He
we are not.
never ever referred to male electeds
Okay.
by their first name.
Well, Representative Hitler, you know you my girl, right? Sorry, for now on, any female that can make elected official, I will make sure we do our best, and I do my part, to call you by your last, by your last name. But Hitler though is our ally here at Sako Podcast, so kudos to her. She's a hard worker, she cares about the community. I hope she can continue to do what she's doing. But she's my girl. I like her. She's a Democrat, but like, imagine a Republican like a Democrat. But I like her work ethic. I won't vote. I
That's
won't
a
be
big
voting.
one. That's a big one.
Yeah, I like her work ethic though. She's
Leaning towards me.
imagine a Republican looking at any kind of a job, but hey, it is what it is. You know? But yeah, man, folks, follow us on Facebook, subscribe to our YouTube channel, follow us on X, Apple Podcasts, Spotify, wherever you get your podcast. Tonight conversation is it's gonna be great. I think we're gonna try to make it good and fun. Peterson, how you feeling, man? I mean, watching out your game, I tell you guys how that thing in the bag. I mean that
I know.
that's
Down
your
to the
that's your
final
that's your
four.
that's your he did before overtime. I thought, I said, damn, but this is it though, right? This dude is always coming back. And
Yeah.
then in overtime he broke you guys' heart. But how you guys feeling? How's Chicago feeling?
Uh, surprisingly,
Hmm.
I upbeat about how
Mm.
everything went because like we did not even expect to be like at this point in
Okay.
this first season of Ben Johnson's coaching the Bears. So everybody's like, well, imagine if we did this in the first year, what's going to happen? It's only up and up. But a lot of people during the game, people were disappointed that day. I'm one of them because I went out and I was decked out.
Mm, mm,
Did you
So
take pictures?
no,
Oh,
I'm kidding. Yeah, so I was still focused on the game, and then right before overtime, I actually turned it up because I'm like, oh, come on, this can't be happening. And then everybody's calling, did you see that? I'm like, wait, what happened?
you
So
see.
So
especially
you didn't see the true live that he did?
I did not see that through a live. When I turned it back on, they
Whoa.
were doing the replays, and everybody's like, I've never seen something like this in my life before. So, but yeah, everybody else, Chicago is they are upbeat about the whole season and how things are looking.
Yeah, just a
Yeah,
little back.
man.
Yeah,
To
Miss B, go
lose
ahead,
by
man.
a kick, was it a kick? I didn't watch the game, but when I saw the
Yeah, they
score and
lost
it
that
said
pick.
in overtime, I said, okay, it must have been 7-17 going to overtime, and
It
somebody must
was.
have got a kick. And
Yeah,
that's the worst.
yeah.
Yeah, yeah.
Wow.
So just a
And we
little
got that off of
background,
a
right?
turnover when
Yeah,
we're
yeah.
right there to
That's
for
even
us to kick.
worse
Yeah.
Okay.
on any
So
given
just
Sunday.
well, yeah, they're gonna wait for next season let's like on another Sunday. But just a background, right, for folks maybe who don't follow the NFL or the American Football League, right? The playoff has started. Right. Last weekend before this weekend, I mean, the weekend before this going weekend was the wild card round. Nice, I mean, the Chicago Bears won. It was. I mean, the playoff has been actually nice, right? It's been competitive. Has been a lot of good games. And then last weekend was a divisional round, and Chicago play and things like that. But like I think you guys were right there, though. Peterson. I think you guys were right there. But again, man, that's how football is. But
Yeah. The
the
sports.
true, the true that he did, man. Even the commentator, right, Chris Carlin was saying he has been around football all his life. He had never seen anything like that. It was a really, really electric show, right? It's like it was something no one couldn't believe it that he actually chewed that because he was going backwards, right?
Yep.
And he chewed that bomb. So everybody that whoa, because everybody thought the game was over,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
But one of the things though, I think Ben Johnson always been taking a risk, during the entire season. I think you are going for the two. Look, man,
Yeah,
it's like put your character on the line for that as a coach.
That
Go
part
for it.
you're right. I
Go
mean,
for it too. Hey,
you're
you
here
you.
already.
That's
yeah,
it. But going in overtime with the Rams, I said, well, maybe he trusted, Caleb Williams. And to your point, though, right? Where I thought Caleb Williams mess up, he was already there for the what? For the field goal.
yeah.
Why are you doing a pass? Just
Yeah.
run the ball.
Definitely.
Just run the ball and stuff like that. But I said maybe that you guys are LeBron Lone Star now. There's always next year. You guys do well. You guys do well. So there's always next year. But
Oh,
hey, I know the expectation is high.
Oh yeah, yeah.
but don't be like Minnesota. Don't have a great season and then go
And
and
then follow
switch
by.
up the whole team. Like
Yeah,
Minnesota is so known for doing that. We did it with the Wolves, and I'm like, okay, here we are now. Anthony Edwards is gonna probably go a couple more seasons, play out his contract, and he's gonna leave because somebody of his magnitude, you're gonna want a ring. KG did it. He left us, and the moment he left us, he went and got a ring. So hopefully, you guys do not be like us and mess up your team. Keep the same team you have going into next year, and you guys will be there. But I mean, LA playing in LA, Super Bowl is gonna be in California. That's gonna be awesome.
Yeah, yeah. But I think though, right? Peterson. No offense though. I know I'm a lifelong Minnesota. I love Minnesota, but the only thing I don't love is the Vikings, right? Is that when we're talking about football team and people talking about the Vikings, I say, really? Why are you talking? Why are you
Because we
bringing back?
don't we don't we don't stick with the team. We mess them up every season. The year that Danny Green was the coach, we had Dante Culpepper was the
yep.
quarterback. Randy
Way back.
Moss was the wide receiver. That's to show
Yep.
you how much of a Vikings fan I am. We won. We went there, one game away from Super Bowl. He should have brought that team back. They dismantled the entire team from the coach to the quarterback to the wide receiver. And then we haven't had that level of success. Well, we did almost, and then we lost to what? Russell Wilson's team.
Yes.
Yeah, a few years back. All year, never missed a kick. The kicker missed the one important kick. I swear that game was rigged. That game was rigged. It was rigged. But Minnesota will get there. We'll get there. I'm always gonna be a Minnesota fan. The
Yeah.
Wolves, the Lynx, the Vikings. I'm always gonna be a Minnesota fan.
Okay, yeah, definitely. Minnesota will get there though. They will get there. Chicago already tried to get there. Minnesota will get there. Well, folks, tonight we are discussing sports as a unifier, right? Sports as a unifier tonight. That's what we are discussing. A lot of stuff going on in the sports world. As I said, the NFL playoff is going on. There's only 4 teams left. On the 4 teams. Unfortunately, Chicago couldn't make it. So that's how I asked Peterson how the folks in Chicago are doing. Is there any high blood pressure? Are they taking folks to the
It was
emergency
a great
rooms?
distraction from ice.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. No, no, no. Yeah, it is. I mean, it's like it is, and that's why like during these heated moments, during these times, where sports is kind of a unifying us. If you're a sports fan, and that of great moments going on. Even apart from the NFL playoffs, last night was a good college football game. Indiana versus Miami. That was a that was a good one. I don't know if any of you watch it.
I didn't
Obviously,
watch it.
okay, okay, yeah, that was a good one. And then my takeaway from there is right in the moment where in like they are, you know, taunting or tormenting or terrorizing immigrants. The kid who, I mean, Indiana University won the game, right? It's the college football playoffs. Indiana won the game, and to all the Hoosiers fans, it's their first national championship,
Yep.
first time ever. So I know the folks in
My
Indiana
husband's
is like,
from Indiana, so yeah, he's
oh, your
excited.
husband's from your
He's
husband's
from
from Indiana.
Indiana. Yep.
So is he an Indiana fan? Did he watch the game last night?
He did not watch the game, but he's keeping
Okay,
track of the
he's
team.
keeping
Yes.
track.
Yes.
Okay, okay, yeah. I mean, it's the first national champion. It's the first championship in the school history. So imagine that, right? Is that the entire Indiana is on? I mean, I know they are all still getting drunk from last. They are all still partying from last night. But it was a great game, though. I think the takeaway from that is right. The kid, the quarterback, his parents or his grandparents are actually from Cuba. Imagine in a moment where in like immigrants are being terrorized, tormented, and yet still they are still kind of ashamed. Look, man, they are still part of the society. They are still contributing greatly. So I think that was to me that was and the kid is so gracious, right? It's like, man, he acknowledged his grandparents. His grandparents after the game, they were all there, and he acknowledged them, and that was a great moment, right? And that's the thing about sports, right? No one could say, "Oh, you don't belong," or your grandparents don't belong, and things like that, right? It's like, so that was a great story. What you guys thought about it?
I mean, I like the fact that you talk about the parents being from Cuba. Actually, between the NFL and college and the National Football League, there's a lot of immigrants that are in the league, right? And are star players of a lot of these teams. So it's like you can't have these sports anymore without immigrants. I don't know how we gonna manage, right? So and I'll be surprised, if some of them papers ain't straight, but they playing.
Okay. Well, when it comes to that, those are the only people that, I mean, they don't deny documents or whatever, right? Because hey, I mean, they need them, and things like that. But I think even Miami, like, I mean, where because the game was actually playing in Miami, and Miami is an immigrant city. You go to Miami, man, is like that's the quintessential immigrant city right there.
There
I
you
mean,
go.
it's a Hispanic city basically. It's like that's what it is, and that's what the game was played last night. And the fact that that kid could actually achieve. I mean, as if to me, the takeaway there for me was where he acknowledged his grandparent. He said his upbringing. He credited his grandparents for his work ethic, and that's what immigrants do. When immigrants come here, they work hard, to raise their family, to raise their kids, to guide their kids in the right direction. And some of these kids go on to do big things, right? I Miss B mentioned they're in the NBA, they're in the NFL. They are, in colleges, contributing to these national programs.
Yeah.
Exactly.
So I think I didn't watch the game, but as you said, um, to Miss B's point about these people not getting like denied or as you echo there, because some of these programs, most of them, they actually need these kids, and
Mhm.
if somebody is playing very well, have a athletic scholarship or something like that, the school they will like pull all strings to get that person to their campus for that program. And for the quarterback that you're talking about to actually acknowledge his grandparents, because a lot of kids, whether they were born here or they came here as kids, once they get acclimated to like this society, most of them they try to deny their their background, especially when uh, time like this where a lot of things is going against immigrants. A lot of people will try to deny their background and upbringing. So for him to actually acknowledge his grandparents and where they're from is similar to the Liberian kid that got drafted by the Thunder over the summer, Thomas,
Hmm.
but then unfortunately got hurt, so he haven't been playing this season. Where he like pulled Liberia on the map. It's not something to be ashamed of. Like, oh, okay, this is where I come from, because like we're saying, sports is like a unifier. When people are in the stands cheering for whichever team, they will not be like, "Ah, where you come from and why are you cheering for this team?" So, and I'm sure a lot of Packers fans, the past couple of weeks, they were they were very hard on Chicago fans because
Hmm.
what happened a couple of weeks ago. But during that game, there would be Packer fans and Bears fans like standing next to each other. So that's what sports does.
Yep, yep. Miss B, anything to add there?
No, I mean, as we're talking about the immigrants being in sports, shout out to Charles Johnson and Precious Johnson, Liberians, been in Minnesota their whole life, went to Jordan Mission Church, raised their son. Emmett Johnson he's at Nebraska. Now Nebraska had a pretty good season in 2025 as well. So Emmett Johnson, he's being looked at to be in the draft pick, right? And to be recruited to the NFL. So I won't be surprised if that happens this year for him. So I'm looking forward to more of our. I mean, one of the very first Liberians I know, Thomas Tape, back in the day, got drafted from Minnesota Gophers I think he went to Philadelphia Eagles. So we went to church with his mom and his sister. You know, Vicky, get you a Vicky, great cook. Shout out to you, Vicky. But yeah, you know, so we've been having a history of Liberians now being in the NFL, not just Liberians, but African immigrants being in the NFL, and we're talking first generation, right? Um, African immigrants being in the NFL
Yeah.
again, but who probably have family members who are not 100%. So
Yeah, I mean, it's like to that, right? I mean, like the current running back of the New Orleans Saints,
Yeah.
Alvin Kamara. I didn't even. I thought Alvin Kamara was actually from Sierra Leone, but then it was like
Oh,
later on I got to later on I got to know that it's actually from Liberia when he visited
yeah,
Liberia and stuff like that. Yeah. So Alvin Kamara, elite quarterback in the NFL, right? So I'm the reality case, out there that I doing really really great, contributing to the society and doing a lot in the sports world, in the sports and entertainment world, but specifically in the sports world. And like that the quarterback for Indiana we are talking about, I know Fernando Mendoza, right? As I said,
hmm
as Fernando Mendoza
he
last
looks
night.
good too. Yes, I just saw his
Oh,
picture.
okay, okay,
Strong genes
okay,
still carrying over.
oh, okay. Yep, definitely, yeah. So, but I mean, congratulations to your husband and the Indiana Hoosiers, right, for winning the national championship for the
Oh
first
yeah.
time in school history. So kudos to them. Hopefully, they can repeat next year. And things like that. But that's that. Okay. That's the Indiana one. And then the next one, the NBA All Star is coming up, man. They selected the All Star status, but
Valentine's
I
weekend.
definitely I know Peterson, you guys, the Bulls, your story always used to be on the 90s, So when talking about basketball, we don't talk about Chicago Bulls
Man,
anymore,
what happened to the
because
Chicago Bulls,
because
Peterson?
because Michael Jolly gave you guys his championship, put you guys on the map, and then once he left, the rest of it that was that Asian history. So so we're
well,
talking
is
about
this your history? Does Minnesota have a history?
Honestly,
okay.
it was the coach because see, Phil Jackson was with the Bulls when
Yeah.
Jordan Reeves retires. He decides I'm going to LA.
Yep.
And that's what happened. Then he was just the person to recruit everybody. So we need another Phil Jackson, I guess, in the
Yeah.
NBA.
For Chicago, I don't know. They've tried their hands at different coaches over the years. Right now is Billy Donovan from Florida. And first he was with OKC when Kevin Durant and Westbrook and all those guys started
Mhm.
there, and then he came to Chicago. But Chicago is, uh, when it comes to basketball, we are always like, it's like a roller coaster. With like this year, we started like really good, and then we won like a 12-game losing streak or something crazy. But I think I don't know. Chicago used to be one of the big sports city when it comes to basketball, one of those like big markets. So it was LA, New York, Chicago. That's where people wanted to be. But
Mhm.
the past several years is like, and one thing Chicago, especially the Bulls, they usually do, it's like the groom players. They would get somebody,
Yep.
a rookie. They start to get minutes, and then once they get really good, they're like, wait, I don't want to be here. And then they either trade them. They did it with Jimmy Butler when Jimmy started in Chicago, and he started to get really good, and then they sent
My
him out.
brother.
Yep, your brother. But yeah, with Chicago, I don't know if in this decade we're going to be able to come in close to like the championship, because right now, yeah, we probably need to lose on purpose so we can get like a good draft pick or something.
Yeah. That go ahead, Miss B.
No, I'm just thinking like what it was it in his playbook that Phil Jackson really built a great team. Like he knew the players to go after. That's how. And when you think about Michael Jordan in them era, right? It was not just Jordan and him. Jordan himself recognized that, right? He had Dennis Rodman. He had
Scotty,
Scottie Pippen, right? And he went hard for those guys when it came time for trade-offs and, for budgets and everything as far as pay. And so it's like, as a leader, you have to know that it's not just you. And I think a lot of times, oftentimes, a lot of these teams, what they do is they'll pay for that star player
Mhm.
and not want to pay for a star lineup. And so that's what's happening. You're not going to see back-to-back level type championships like you saw with Lakers and Bulls. That's what the secret sauce was. It wasn't just Kobe, right? Kobe did a lot of what he did with Shaq, right? And so when you think back in history to the teams, it was really the makeup of the team that really brought those championships. It's not just having that star player.
Yeah, yeah. So again, right? So the NBA, it was yesterday. Yeah, yesterday was Monday. They named their All Star status, as Miss B says, in February. It's a Valentine's weekend. She already got that date cycle, right? Valentine's weekend. But they named their All Star status, which is 10 players. And out of that 10, the one thing that stood out to me, right? 5 of them are immigrants. They were all born outside of the United States. They got Giannis, they got Luca, they got Victor Wembanyama Wemby. They got
That tall kid, what that boy is
and they got a Joker,
Yeah.
and then with Shea Gorgeous
Yeah.
Alexander, right, and SGA.
That's
So
yeah.
just and things like that, right? So it's like out of even I mean the international guys are taking over the NBA, right? I mean the best player over the last 2 years, I would even argue 3 years. He's been, the Joker. The Joker has won, I think, and then Shea, the last three MVPs has been one of my immigrants, basically,
Mhm.
and things like that, right? So just looking at that, and the NBA All Star, I mean, and even this year, what the NBA has done, they have gone. I mean, they want to go to an international format where it's USA versus the world. That's the
Yeah.
format this year. They are going to do the All Star. I mean, that's where the All Star game is going to be played this year. So all of these things where we are in 2025 or we are in 2026, where we are carrying our passports and our documents around, and yet immigrants are making great contribution, to the society. Every aspect, you think about, right? They are kind of entertaining us in the sports world, in the NBA. They are entertaining us in college. They are entertaining us in the NFL. And it's just so much. I mean, it's like you wonder sometimes what's going on, you know.
And that's where the citizenships can be bought.
Oh, at that level. So you trying to say, at that level they buy them or something. These guys don't even want
because
to. These guys don't even want.
because
These guys don't even want to. Wait, wait, let me just catch you there though. Giannis, he's proud of his Greek root, right? It's like even with Luca, like every year during the summertime, they all go back to where they came from, and they don't even
being
spend a lot.
part of their roots and saying, do they or do they not have American citizenship at this point?
They don't. The
And
only
if they
person, the only
do,
person, the only person, the only person that betrayed the cause was Imbi. Okay, was Imbi from Philadelphia 76ers, right? Because he's from Cameroon, and then his parents, also I think went to France or whatever. But he's from Cameroon. But he betrayed the cause. He's a natural U.S. citizen, and then he
and
playing for
how
the
did he get
USA.
that citizenship?
Oh, he went through the process. I don't think he bought it. Or are you gonna say
What?
how
You
can you
never
buy
like
your
to talk
can you
about this
can you
processes.
buy your
What do you say?
citizenship to make
What?
that
I
make sense to
come
us here?
here
And
Okay,
these
as
make
an
that make
migrants
sense.
trust the process.
thank you. I'm on a work visa, and then all of a sudden I become a citizen.
Oh, what's wrong with that? You go through the process. There's
The
so many ways. You
NBA
can
is becoming is allowing people is applying for citizenship on behalf of athletes. Is that the process?
no, that's not a process. I think in B, I think his wife, I think is a US citizen, or however way he
So
obtained his
when I
passport.
use that as the only viable way to become a citizen, you say no. Elon Musk became a citizen the legal way. He did not, and people are questioning that the fact that you only way somebody can become a citizenship really outside of being coming here on refugee or that DV is to marry another U.S. citizen.
That's not
Abraham,
the only way, Miss B. There's so many ways. As I said, you can
you
go. We
always
give
say
you
so many ways,
we
but you
gave you
never
that
give me these
assignment. We
many
gave you
ways.
that we gave you that assignment the last time. You have not come back to us and
I
let us
want to do my research.
okay, yeah, but I mean, a lot of data out there that there's so many ways that you can obtain U.S. citizenship. I don't think I know you have the Trump gold card out there that if you got $5 million, you can become a permanent resident, and then on your way to become your citizen. But I don't think that's the way Elon Musk obtained his citizenship. I don't think that's the way Joe Embiid got his citizenship. So, but there's so many ways to become a what, U.S. citizen. That's what I'm saying. So NBA athletes are not going through that route. They are going through the process. But I would say though, most of them, right, the international players, they are choosing not to. They are choosing not to. The Joker every year he go back to his homeland. Look at the same thing, and they are
They
playing for
have
the
working
international
visas
teams.
probably. As long as they're on the team, they probably have work visas.
Oh
That's
yeah, they
probably
do.
what
Yeah,
it
they
is.
do. Although I'm sure the public can also apply to become permanent residents. I don't know how that process works, but
It doesn't
you
exist.
know,
It doesn't
you know.
exist.
But
It doesn't
okay,
exist. But it just
okay.
shows you at some level those things don't matter, right? It's what you can bring to the country. What other benefits in which you bring to the country. It shouldn't matter where you're from. It should matter like what do you come here? How do you give back? How do you bring back into the economy? Those people are working here ultimately. I know we think they're celebrities, but it's a job, and they're making money and they're earning income, and that income is helping to sustain lives in this economy. And so I think anybody that wants to be able to come here and work and be a productive citizen should be allowed to be here. At the end of the day, we need to figure out what does that look like, honestly, and
Well,
then we're going to be dealing with a lot of the things we're dealing with.
Well, I think those are the people. I guess the president said he wants it. The president and his advisor said they want people high skill level people. Right? They don't want people from the 75 countries that will be banned that shit on the effective tomorrow. They don't want people from those countries because apparently when they come here, they become they become a liability to the system. I didn't even know said like when folks the majority of folks that come from Africa become liability to the system. Right? That's why they are banning 75% of it, 75% of the countries. Right? So he actually wanted the folks like the Yanis, the folks like the Luca, because hey, they are high skilled individuals, So maybe that's the rationale.
No, but so if they are planning or if they're thinking about putting this list out of countries that they don't want people to come from, so if you're an athlete, does that exempt you, or
Peter,
you have?
Pe- Peterson, maybe you have not seen the list. The list go into effective tomorrow, and we had the ambassador and I did a segment on that on Thursday. So the list came out last week. 75 countries, and by the way, Liberia is on there. Immigrants visa.
We're not surprised.
Yeah, I saw
75 countries.
the list
Yeah,
of countries
yeah,
that are people
yeah,
that are receiving benefits
yeah.
or something like that.
Yes, well, yeah, 75 countries. The majority are from Africa. Majority of those countries are in Africa. Okay, they are not. They cannot like immigrant visa is on pause, right? For the time being, it's on pause until they can determine, whether they can when they come here they will not become a liability to the U.S. government or to the system. So they have been, they are pretty much banned out of 75 countries. But to your question, right? A lot of people can still come here on non-immigrant visa. But the problem with that is how many people in these poor countries can afford non-immigrant visa. And even
Exactly.
now, right? Even now, there's a whole nother layer to that. There's $15,000 you have to deposit, and you have to make sure that the last for the last 5 or 6 years or whatever, you have not written any nonsense on your social media feed, or else. Or
It was
else
already difficult. Now it's getting even harder.
or else don't even bother to apply for a non-immigrant visa, which is a visiting visa, and the highest number of years you can get it for is 3 years. Which means when you come, if you come, and with the way things are, if you try to overstay your visa, you might find yourself in some detention center, and then boom, back home. Yeah, but that's what. But I just want to throw that out there. But go ahead, Peterson.
No, so uh, I was gonna say with the list out, I guess athletes and people like you said that have certain skills that would be exempt. And to go back to the NBA and all, like now with the international talent, because the past few years they've been saying that like the international talent is catching up to the U.S. talents as far as basketball, and
Hmm.
majority of the stars, the A-listers in the NBA, people that were born out of this country, like you said, they're immigrants, and they have, I guess, work. But it shows that we've come a long way. But then at the same time, like the question you asked, in 2026 and in Minnesota and other places, they're advising like, hey, carry your papers and carry documents and things like that. But then at the same time, the immigrant population is overtaking like the NBA because first it started several years ago. Uh, Black players were not even allowed to play, but now it's like 99%,
Hmm.
if I can throw that number out, like black. And then now we have international players that are taking over or they are trying to catch up with that and stuff. And whenever you watch like even a NFL game, you will usually see on the helmets they will put the American flag, and then where the country they are from, they will have
Nice.
their flag on there as well. So immigrants are represented in sports in a large number in this country.
That's nice. I didn't know
Yeah,
about the
yeah.
helmet thing.
Yeah.
Okay, okay. Miss B, I know you wanted to say something back to the immigrant stuff. Let me give you. I know you. I know you won't let that slide. So let me let you.
No, I don't think it's that they come here and they're like a burden on us. I
Mhm.
think what it is, unfortunately, we probably do have a lot of African immigrant folks that overstay their visa. That's the number one thing we're guilty of, overstaying your visa. Because at the end of the day, if you are overstaying your visa, you're coming here, you don't have a work permit. How can you really contribute to the economy? But the reality is, on the same breath, you can't apply for any kind of benefits. You're not applying for food stamps. You're not applying for housing. You don't have any documentation. So it's not to say that you're coming here and you're gonna overstay your visit, and now you're gonna be taking our resources. You can't access them. That's just the reality, right? You really just start working under the table, or whichever way you want to think about it, as most illegals do. They go and try and find some kind of a job to sustain themselves because they don't have papers. And we have to think, how is it 11 million people that are illegal in this country surviving? That means you have employers who are heavily employing illegal people. So, as to some extent, they are a benefit, they are contributing. And that's the point I'm trying to make. If 11 million people can stay in this country for decades, some of the people they've captured have been here 20 years undocumented, working jobs, right? If you can be here and be 20 years, having committed any crime to that lands you in jail, you have maintained a job at all times and paying taxes. I don't know how you're doing this, but you're doing this. Those are the type of people we should be okay with becoming a citizen. They should have a process. And that's what we fail to do, to say, okay, no matter how you've entered, if you've been here over time doing all of the law abiding things, as far as staying out of trouble, having a job, paying your taxes, maybe after 5 years, I think other countries have some kind of process, like Canada. After a certain time of being here, you can apply for citizenship. That should be the process for us. And we don't have that process. That's the process we need, and we don't have.
Okay. Well, folks, tonight we are discussing sports as a unifier, right? The immigrant stories, the big wins on the field, the joy, and everything else, And I kind of, as we do this, we're here on the Inner Circle podcast. We are an immigrant platform, even though that's not a cool word these days to say you're an immigrant. They might be coming for you, and they might be someone might be knocking on your door if you're in Minnesota. But we are an immigrant platform. We are here to, amplify, empower, and elevate immigrant voices, and that's what we are doing. And tonight, as we discuss sports, we are also kind of discussing the immigrants that are contributing in that arena, in that space. So you can contribute to the conversation by putting a comment in the chat, according to our number 952-594-5154. But here's the thing, though. First of all, let me just a point of correction, Ms. B. It's not 11 million anymore. It was 11 million before you took over the White House for the last 4 years, and added three more million 3 more million. Now it's 14 million. Now it's 14 million, undocumented immigrants that are here.
That are
But
surviving.
that are survive. Yes, the thing though, right? As an immigrant, I would say like what I expected the administration to do, and I would say full disclosure, I voted for the administration. I'm a Republican, and I do support some of their policies. When it comes to the immigration, I don't support it. But I think what I think they should have done, right? Try to work to regularize those 14 million are already here. Close the border. Close, I mean, the southern border, I think they have done a good job of the way you guys were allowing people to just flow in from all over the world through that southern border. Now, at least that has been solved. Find a way to regularize, right? The 14 million are already here. Because right now, right, I was like, what's the end solution? I think we have asked this question many times on this platform, on this show. What's the end game here? What are you trying to solve? There's no way, even the 14 million they are hunting, there's no way it takes from now to generation. You cannot deport 14 million people out of this country. It's
No,
not going to happen.
no.
You except you declare war. Okay. Sorry to say it, but you're not going to get 40 million people out of this country. So find a way to say, okay, how best can you regularize their status? Right? Work with them. Now, also, if there are people here that are gangsters that are commit serious crimes and you want to get rid of them, let's do that. I mean, do that aspect of it. But to come after everybody, it's a mass deportation, giving ICE a mandate to say, oh, there must be like 3,000 a day, giving an incentive to arrest people. Even when ICE arrests you and they release you, they get incentive. So they are just arresting everybody. That's why you see Minnesota, they just even if that was they carry your papers, right? Because they just arrest everybody because there's incentives involved. So I think the point you are making, I do agree with you a little bit on that, is that find a way to solve the immigration problem, right? By trying to finding a pathway, for these folks to stay because they are contributing to the economy. People that are building our houses, they are immigrants. Right now, guess what? Maybe a couple of years from now, or maybe even next year, when trying to buy houses, it's going to be hard. People that that do this repair in homes, most of them are Latinos, and you
Yeah.
driving them away is like I don't know what it is that you're trying to solve. And I've said it many times on this platform as well. If you travel, every cleaner I have ever encountered in a hotel is a Latino female that hardly speak any English. And you tell me that person has a document, make that make sense to me, right? But you're driving every one of them away. How are you going to ever solve this problem?
Seriously, when we talk about construction, you have more immigrants that are in that field than you have U.S. born. And so, like you're talking about construction when it comes to housing, we already have a shortage of housing in certain parts of this country, certain areas. Our housing stock as a whole, as a nation, is plentiful, but in certain places, that housing stock is not enough. We have a housing shortage, and so who is going to make sure that these housing that is needed is being built? And we need a diversified amount of housing
Okay.
is needed. So,
Yep. Yep. Yeah,
but
that's
back
that.
to them playing sports. We love
Yeah,
when
definitely.
immigrants can entertain us, right?
Definitely, definitely. So now, right, you have 4 teams left in the NFL. What's your pick? I know, Peters. I know what my pick. What's your pick to win? Who do you think is going to win the Super Bowl? Right, because this weekend is coming. It's a championship weekend.
Mhm.
Seattle versus LA Rams,
Yep.
and then
Broncos.
yeah, New England Patriots versus the Broncos. Who's your
Yeah.
pick to win the? I mean, to win the Super Bowl this year?
I'll go with Seattle this year.
The
Okay, you're
Seahawks.
not on it.
Yep.
Yeah,
Seattle.
the Seahawks, yeah, the Seahawks has a great defense though, right?
Mhm.
I think that their defense is yeah, I mean they have the best remaining defense in the league, I think right
Yeah.
now. I mean in the playoffs right now. Broncos, maybe I could say Broncos, right? But I mean the sad news for them though, right? Their
Yeah, the
quarterback, man,
quarterback.
is like, yeah, I mean their
Yeah,
quarterback
he's
got
awesome.
hurt. And that's the other thing about that game, right? I mean Josh Allen, man, it was just an unfortunate situation for him. But I think this was Josh Allen year to win the Super Bowl.
Yeah.
I it was his year to win the Super Bowl because guess what? There's no Patrick Mahomes, there's no Joe Burrow, there's no
There's no
Lamar
Jalen
Jackson,
Hurts.
Yeah.
there's no all of his peers. They're all out, right? All
Yeah.
of his kryptonite, because his kryptonite is Joe Burrow, Patrick Mahomes and Lamar Jackson. All of these guys are out, and yet he couldn't pull it off. He went and lost to Bo Nix, a rookie, when it comes to the playoff, actually.
Yeah.
And so I think, and that's how you could. I understand how emotional he was, right? I think that's the reason because I think this was his year, and then they even fired their coach. The other thing too, man, this year I think, man, is like every team that loses
It lose.
anyway, right? They are just getting rid of their coaches. That's the
Yeah,
other thing, right? It's like, I mean, there are so many openings in the NFL right now. If you know how to coach your NFL team, you can actually get a job because there's so many openings.
I wonder how well you think about Belichick and you'll say, oh, the coach is very impactful, but is it really the coach or is it the team?
No, it's both. I mean, some of the players, the coach, I think it's both. But I would say some of the players, the coaches can call. Like I was saying, right, when we go back to that Chicago game, Peterson. I think if I was Ben Johnson, right,
I'm gonna go
after
for that.
I was gonna go for that too.
Yeah,
Okay, it was gonna be on me to win it or lose it. I was gonna go for the two, right? I think he put too much pressure on Caleb Williams to come and win it in overtime.
Mm.
yeah,
And sometimes those are some of the decisions because ultimately the coach has the final decision. One of the thing too, though, right, for all the kids that play sports in this country, especially in this country, coaches can either make you or break you.
yep,
If
Yeah,
if a coach decide not to play you, guess
yeah.
what? But you can be the best player in the whole world, or just leave you,
yep,
just leave
yep,
your whole football, you done. You
yep.
know.
And oftentimes that's what happens sometimes. Like, my nephew, he's at Asio, and he's good, right? But Asio is not that good of a team, and so he's really trying to figure out, where else can he go so that he can get more playing time, right? And or not only just playing time, he just would like to be having a better opportunity to be around more you know, a better team gives him more time on the field. It gives him more time to be able to show off his skills and go further. So, he's tussling with that right now. This year was his ninth grade year, and he was already playing varsity. So that just tells you how good he is in football. And so, and there's injuries and all these things. So you want to try and get as much playing time as possible with being on a good team because you know, this is his time to be able to shine, to get recruited and get under the best coach possible when it comes to high school coaches. And so, I've been telling his mom, I'm like, be open to him going somewhere, even though the commute may be far, be open to him going somewhere else and getting a better opportunity. But you're right, a coach can make or break somebody's future.
Okay. Okay. Peter, anything to add there before we go to the next
Yeah, I
topic?
mean, this NFL season, there's been a lot of things, a lot of moving parts when it comes to coaches. Like you said, almost every team that lost in the first round, they fired their coach, except for Pittsburgh. He decided to leave. Matt Tomlin, being like the longest tenure coach in the NFL up until this year. He's been in the
He
NFL.
fired.
No, he quit.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, there were rumors of him getting fired, but I think before he got to that, he's like, I'm going to just take my chances, and he left. I mean, but he's a really good coach, and like you said, it depends. Uh, the players that the coach calls and the caliber of players that you have, uh, it can both be impactful on the field because you can have like the best quarterback, but if the coach is calling some like crazy play, and if they don't trust the quarterback, like how other people like Peyton Manning and other people used to, they'll just call an audible. If you call the play because they are so good that they see the defense and like, yeah, that's not going to work. So I'm just going to switch it up and do something. But with these new quarterbacks and other athletes coming out of college, if you call your own play, you might get you might get benched because, and it's also a power play. Everybody's trying to like up one another. So if the quarterback thinks like, yeah, he's got the power to just call his own plays, yeah, the coach has the power to bench you, and and then you might be looking for another home.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, I'm glad you brought up Mount Tomlin. I think he's one of the most successful black coach in the NFL. He was there, I
Yep,
think, for 19 or 20 years,
yep.
and he won a Super Bowl actually, with
Hmm.
the Pittsburgh Steelers. So He's been there for a really, really long time, good work ethic, good guy, all of those that work for him or play for him actually like him, so but the longer you stay there, right, is that I think it came a time. I think I too I felt like I said maybe like sometimes it's just good, maybe like it was time for him to move on, right? So but but I think he's the most or one of the most successful black coaches, ever. I mean, in the NFL, because number one, he won a Super Bowl with the Steelers, and two, he never had a losing season. I think he never had a losing season.
Yeah.
He every year he had a winning season. So it's like that speaks volume of the kind of coach he is. And I think maybe he might go in a broadcast booth. That's where I see
Yeah,
him.
that's
That's
what
where
a
I
lot of
see him.
people were saying.
Yeah, that's where I see him going, and things like that. Yeah, but yeah, man, when it comes to the coaches too, right? Killing your career, like especially the high school kids, I tell that high school and college kids, if you want to go further, listen to your coach or try to play nice with your coach, because if that coach decides not to play you, it's like if you're in high school, right, you want to go to a D1 school because all of these, guys are coming looking at watching you guys, and things like that, and you're not playing, you're not going to make it to a D1 school. I can tell you that because there's so like millions of kids who want to make it to these schools, especially
Yeah,
when it comes to basketball or football.
exactly.
So coaches play a major, major role, and and it's a competition too, though, between the parents, and those Caucasian parents that have the money, they will do extra things for the program and stuff like that. And even though your child might be good, but hey, man, he might not see that playing time because maybe you are busy doing your doubles, or busy, doing whatever it is that you're doing, right? You don't have the time. But yeah, but coaches are very, very, very important, and they play a major role or major factor in this case, like and even in the pros. I mean, like the Cleveland Browns, right? Like, I mean, Shannon Anderson. I think people think that he should have played more, but his coach just didn't allow that and stuff like that.
Yep.
Yeah. So yeah, yeah. So okay, next one here, World Cup. Okay, go ahead, Miss B. If you want to say something?
Right. No, I was just thinking like what we talked about coaches. I mean, are you guys thinking any of these quarterbacks are going to be tossed around? What are you guys prophesizing for these teams? I mean, Mahomes, is he going to be back next season? Achilles heel is what he tore, I think, the big one.
Yeah, he's gonna be back. I mean, is that he will be back. Now the question to ask, will he be the same at home like he was before, right? After such
Yeah.
a major injury. That's the only thing you should ask, but he will be back.
I would say consult Brady. Brady has had that injury and he recovered. He covered well. So you guys should be eating Brady, whatever Brady is eating. Tom Brady looks good. So
Okay.
he takes care
Okay.
of himself. He takes good care of himself. And so
Okay.
I mean I hope Philadelphia Eagles comes back with Hurts at the realm of things, and I want to see them again get another Super Bowl.
So are
So
you for the okay? Which team do you? I mean, I know. Are you a Vikings fan? Are you an Eagles
I am a
fan?
Vikings fan.
Okay, okay, yeah,
I'm a
Vikings.
Vikings fan. If not my Vikings, I'm passing it off to the Eagles. I'm an
Okay.
Eagles fan since they won against Kansas City. I was never a Kansas City fan. I mean, we did roll call. We don't want Mahomes. Mahomes can go on the other side.
Okay. Okay.
You
But
know,
anyways,
he's a mega supporter. He's just confused all over on that side. Yeah, he's too confused for me. So we did
you
roll
see,
call.
you see, that's the thing. That's the thing about you guys. You guys quit to cancel people.
You're opening a
Cancel
can of
culture.
worms for
Yeah,
it.
yeah. Is it cancel culture? So long you don't agree with their ideology, they're gonna cancel you. All black people can be on the same team. You guys didn't
What?
understand that we all can be on the same team. No,
I,
we all
he,
can be on the same team. No, some of
I
us
wish
gotta
him the
some of us
best
gotta
of
be in
luck,
the
but
some of us
he
gotta be
got so
in the
canceled.
other camp.
You lost to Jalen. You lost doing the Kendrick Lamar epic Super Bowl performance year. No, we did roll call. Mahomes is on the other side, and he's
So
a
it's like,
mega supporter,
but
and
the year
he's
before though,
Republican.
it was just last year was a revenge Super Bowl, right? Because the year before,
Yeah.
Mahomes beat him. So last
Why
year
you
was a
always
revenge.
like to victimize your other kids?
Yeah, because it's like, you guys couldn't cancel us, right? Especially when it's like when you are in the
Rehash
black,
old ones.
yeah, when you are in the black community and you're a Republican, man, is that you're going to catch hell, right? Because how dare you? Really? What do you mean? How dare me? Come on, man. It's like, but hey, that's all. But hey,
That's
man,
all I want. Sound always.
Okay.
And
The World
yeah,
Cup. The
cards
World
were
Cup is
tough
coming.
for him. Starting
Okay. The
into
World.
2025, he lost, and the rest of the year, he just yeah.
Yeah. Okay. The World Cup is coming up, man. The World Cup is like, man. The World Cup is coming up, and I hear like, there's only I think 10 million tickets they're allocating. FIFA is allocating, but there's like over 400 million demand ticket
Wow.
demand.
Why are
Yeah.
they limiting the amount of people that can see the show?
How many people can they fit into these stadiums, Miss B? There's some of these stadiums only taking like, 75,000 or 50,000 or 60,000, So it's like, even I think 10, it said there's 10,000 tickets, it might be auctioning, right? And I don't think they might even do everything. I think I have to check those numbers and make sure my numbers are correct. But there's no way they can sell 400 million tickets or sell as
Oh
many tickets as they
wow,
want to. It's
it's
like the demand is
serious.
high, actually. The demand is high. But the World Cup is coming in our backyard. Do any of you guys plan to see the World Cup because prices are so high? Okay, Miss B, I know you are very loaded, so you are planning to see it. Peterson, are you Peterson, are you gonna see
I know
any of the
nothing
games?
about soccer. I couldn't even tell you a team name. I really couldn't. I'm just excited that it's going to be in Atlanta. I love
Okay.
Atlanta, and I'm
So that's
gonna
it.
be there. Whether I go to
Okay.
a game or not, I'm just gonna be in the midst of all this.
Uh,
The good time. Yeah.
Okay. 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 Peterson, is it,
yeah.
is it a game in Chicago or no? Chicago?
I'm not too sure.
No, I don't think so because you guys don't have a good stadium though, man. You got to change that
Oh
Soldier Stadium.
wow.
No, honestly, Soldier Stadium is old. If actually, right, I can guarantee you, if they had a brand new stadium, Chicago was going to host a game because that's an immigrant city. I can tell you that, right? It was
Yeah.
going to be. I mean, it was going to be. I mean, this is the third largest city. I mean, in the U.S., right? But I think the reason why maybe they are not a host city because you guys don't have a stadium.
We yeah, Soldier
That's
Field
not a
is not.
that stuff is not a stadium, Peter said. Go and build a new stadium.
How
we
many
are
people can fit
we
in that?
uh on Sunday there were what 60,000.
That's big. That stadium is big. Chicago is one
Yeah,
of the places for these type of things.
but it's
I think
old.
maybe they were just trying to
Yeah,
spread it
It's
out.
not about being big. It's old.
yeah.
That stadium
Is
that stadium
Oh,
was that stadium was built in 1776. I'm just kidding. I'm just kidding.
that's why they had George Washington's inauguration, right? He said 1776.
I
I'm,
might even go to Houston.
I'm just
There's
kidding.
Dallas, there's Houston. I might, and then they'll be in Atlanta in
Kansas
June.
City, Kansas City,
Ooh,
Philadelphia. If you love
Philadelphia.
Philadelphia,
Ooh,
yeah, Philadelphia. You
Brazil
know,
versus Haiti. That's gonna be a good one to be in town that weekend, June 19th. Inner Circle should be in town for that.
so we should hit the road.
We should
Okay.
hit the road. This
Yeah, we
this
should. Yeah,
year we need to hit the road.
definitely, definitely, definitely.
Atlanta is Thursday, June 18th, and then Friday, June 19th, you're in Philadelphia. Well, honestly, the way the World Cup looks, on any given day, you would have like 4 games going on in different parts of the country.
Yeah,
Oh. So then like you just follow the team that you like depending on where they
Yep.
are.
Yeah.
This is a wonky way to have this happen.
No, I mean, I'm glad you said, you did a full disclaimer that you're not a soccer fan. You don't know how soccer works. You don't know
No.
how the World Cup tournament was, but it's going to be games that you follow your team, right? And for me,
Oh,
I'm a Brazilian fan, right? If I
okay.
want to see any of Brazil games, wherever Brazil is playing, doesn't matter the city. That's where I will go and watch my game, right? I'm not gonna,
Oh,
it's like, yeah, and that's not gonna be happening, folks. Like USA, right? USA is in the tournament, so obviously, right? Anywhere USA is playing, I mean, America is probably going to be shut down, but who knows? Our president, I don't know what he might be thinking,
he might
right?
he might say if yours does not win.
That's
so
exactly, so
so
USA is in the,
is it like you you play a few games and then where's the final game going
this
to
year,
play?
this year is 64 teams. I think it's an
Okay,
expanded tournament. So this year is
Yes,
64
expanded
teams.
term. Yeah,
that's a
The
lot.
final is going to be the World Cup final is going to be at GDS Stadium in New York.
Ooh,
Uh, yep, New York is going to host the final. Okay,
That's
that's where the
crazy. Like,
final is going to be, and you
never
don't
too
even want
much
to imagine.
going
You,
on.
you don't even want to imagine a ticket price, right? But again, though, like most of the games, they actually are already sold out. Tickets are out. Obviously, there will be tickets on the secondary market at the work that the final. Good luck if you can get ticket for the finals, right? I mean, the ticket prices that came out were it's been so high. I mean, folks have been complaining to FIFA, like most, especially some of these countries that are taking part in the tournament, might not be able, their fans might not be able to afford it. And then versus the extra thing about all of those fans, except maybe the State Department gave them, a waiver, but if they're going to be checking their social media fees and they have to put $50,000 deposit, good luck coming, good luck
And
coming, I
that
mean, good
part,
luck coming.
and July is such like that is our peak travel season. So just think about airfare, and then it's this is like probably beyond bananas, like more than Super Bowl. I can just imagine like hotel stays when you. This is like probably a $30,000 investment.
The first of all, if you want comparing the World Cup to a Super Bowl, Miss B, I'm glad you say you're not a soccer fan. It is the biggest in the world every 4 years, right? It's the biggest sports. There's the
Wow.
Super Bowl doesn't even compare. Like last year
No.
alone, I mean the last World Cup, I think up to I think 4 or 5 billion people watch it, right? I mean the finals, so that's it's like the Super Bowl we kill for those kind of a numbers. So yeah, so it's a huge deal. And unfortunately, right, it is a year where with so much turmoil, with so much animosity towards immigrants. I think I because by now talking about North America hosting the World Cup, man, the buzz the immigrant community was going to be so much. But like or like even the USA, right? There was gonna be so much buzz, but like the tournament is less than I think six. I mean, the tournament is less than 6 months away, but you don't even hear what's going on. I
Yeah.
know, and stuff like that. But yeah, but the World Cup is coming to North America. It's gonna be in some of these great cities. It's gonna be LA too.
Yeah, it's gonna be
Yeah,
in
I think
Canada, in
Mexico's
America.
Mexico's holding some, and then
Yeah.
Yeah, Mexico is holding some.
Yeah.
Canada is holding some, but the majority of them is gonna be is
right,
gonna be
right.
here in the USA.
Yeah.
Yeah, so,
That's true. A
Peterson,
lot of
are you going? Are you like Miss B going to any cities to just hang out as a fan? For me, all of
No,
those folks that are going out to hang out as fans, though, right? Just FYI, have your documents on you or copy your documents. You know, because
definitely
because
will have my papers.
because because ice might be around there. It's like sniffing you guys out. Do you have your docky? If you don't, boom. You might be put into a marker, yeah, man.
yeah,
But yeah,
Maybe
man.
this is why they're going heavy now in the first 2 quarters of the year. So by the third quarter, they're going to be laying very low, not to disrupt the money flow that could be happening to this economy with this World Cup. So
Yeah.
everything makes sense now because I think people said ICE was booked in these hotels until May. And so it all makes sense. World Cup starts in June. So maybe we'll see some relief in the summer because what you don't want to happen too, though, is come summertime, the community's gonna be in the streets. If you think back to George Floyd, it was COVID, but by the time the George Floyd incident opened, the weather had changed and people were outside. So what we don't want to have happen is people are outside because the weather's nice. They're outside because of World Cup. So ICE don't want to be outside when people are outside, to be honest.
Okay. Okay. That's good. That's
They
good.
gotta go hibernate. Yeah.
Okay. Okay. Well, folks, it's been a great show, man. I'm glad that we could take a breather from everything that's been happening in our communities. It's an emotional moment for a lot of people. We know a lot of people are going through stuff, going through situations, but we just wanted to, take a different road tonight, and that's what we did. So it's been a great moment. Peterson, man, as we wrap this segment up, what are you looking forward to for all of these for the NBA All Stars weekend, for the NFL playoff, and then the World Cup? What are you looking forward to? I mean, I said like this year to me it should have been a good year, but who knows? It might still end up to be a good year.
yeah. It's been a great conversation, and like Miss B, for me, I don't follow soccer until the World Cup. That's the only time that I watch soccer. But a lot of friends, usually they will be like, I guess, is it Saturday or Sundays that they usually play soccer or watch European soccer, especially. So, but for me, it's World Cup that I usually watch, or if there's some major tournament. So I'll be sure to tune in for the World Cup. I don't know if I'm going to travel or go anywhere since Chicago is not hosting any of the games, and I guess the closest city would probably be Kansas City or Atlanta. But yeah, so and with that, we've been talking about how sports is a unifier in this difficult time. If you are going to watch the World Cup, if you're going to be watching the NFL, maybe the Super Bowl, if you're going to NBA All Stars in California, like Ms. B said, make sure that you go ready because you don't want to go for celebration and then something else happens. So make sure that you have your documents. You still have time to apply for those and make sure if you are carrying documents around, don't take the originals. Make sure it's copies that you have. And just as the lawyer said last night, make sure you stand up for yourself and you are aware of your surroundings and learn up on some information, some vital information that would be needed at such a time as this.
Yeah.
Okay. Miss B.
I mean, for me, the NFL. I mean, I don't want. I'm sick of the Patriots winning. They always win. Who hasn't won in a long time? I say it should come down to the Rams and the Broncos, right? Um, and let LA be in California and where the Super Bowl is. I think that'll add to some of the excitement as well. I know I will be somewhere hot for the Super Bowl, and so I'm excited where I'm gonna be. I'm not letting y'all know, but I will be front and center and somewhere nice and warm for the Super Bowl. I'm excited about that. I'm excited about that, so I'm looking forward to that. And then as far as the World Cup, yes, I plan to be in Atlanta. I don't know who's gonna be playing, but I'm gonna be there because my bestie lives in Atlanta. Atlanta's like second home to me, so I'm gonna go enjoy myself. Just take a trip just to be among the happenings. And like Peterson said, just know your rights. Just Google know your rights. You will find a lot of great information. If you're a business, I'm feeling for my businesses. Post as much signs as possible. Be creative in how you can stay open. Um, Encourage takeout. Encourage DoorDash. Promote heavily on these takeout platforms to just so that you can be opening and still making money, and so you can be able to weather the storm, and hopefully this will be behind us soon.
Yeah, definitely, definitely. Well, for me, I would say, like, I mean, you talk about the businesses, right? With the kind of environment we're living right now, with the World Cup coming, I think that's a whole immigrant vibe. Some folks that are in, it's like they can. I think they should take advantage of that. If it is souvenirs, even if your country is not participating, right? But just that whole, is that just that whole thing? We can do some souvenirs, to entice your customers and things like that. But I think it's going to be a great, great, great tournament for North America. It's going to be, I think, it's going to be electrifying. It's going to be great. If you have the time, you have the resources, travel. But the one thing we don't do much in this country, especially as immigrants, we work too hard. And we don't. I don't know how many people go to an NBA game or go to an NFL game. We don't do these things. And some we feel that the tickets are out of, that they are so pricey. But sometimes that these are some of the things. If you want to experience this country, right? If you want to me, is that you want to really, really assimilate. These are some of the things to go to experience, right? And with the World Cup coming, obviously maybe the ticket prices might be out of our league. But if you can afford it, some of the games might end up being cheaper. I mean, especially sometimes on games day. Or if you like Miss B, just go hang out around the stadium, or make sure you have you have your document because
Oh yes.
ice is gonna be patrolling around those stadium. But go ahead, the atmosphere is great. You know, the atmosphere and the atmosphere, especially for Walker, the atmosphere is always great. Not everyone make it to the stadium itself, but you have those still getting around the stadium, folks having
Tailgate, parking lot
parties.
pimping. We gonna be
Yeah.
parking lot pimping, y'all.
Okay, okay, yeah. So we hope that and then Seattle is my pick, just like my man Peterson. I think Seattle is going to win it this year. Your Eddie Rams, is that right? I mean, Eddie has already. I think Eddie won it the year after COVID.
Yeah.
So they have,
Mm,
yeah. So
okay.
and but I hope it can be a great year for sports. Kudos to all immigrants or all those immigrants that are participating. The only thing I got problem with the NBA fans though, right? Why they left Anthony Edwards out, man? They didn't vote him as an all-star. He's not a starter. I mean, the dude is doing great this year. But
They be
anyway,
hating on Anthony because he's young. They be hating
yeah,
on him, but he's
they
one
be
of the
hitting.
best right now in the NBA. To be honest,
Oh yeah, they be hitting on him so bad, because they say he has four baby mamas. I mean, they want to mess with the man resume. They didn't know that resume there is like so many of us carry such a resume around, But
Speak for yourself, sir.
look at the thing he wants to be in the number spot. Wow, wow.
oh Lord,
Look
and,
at the
yeah,
thing
but
he want to be in the
what
number
what what
spot.
what else
Really?
would they deny the man to make to make the starting five, But anyway, but it's been a great show, guys. Tomorrow, Miss B, I hope you can join me here. We have the commissioner of deed coming on the show. Peterson, we have a new law in Minnesota, pay leave. See, Minnesota is a great state. Then the ICE people come here, they just want to,
They want to mess up our economy. They
yeah,
want
they
to
want to do
attack
everything.
our
But it's a
economy.
great state. They have a pay leave. There's a new law that passed there, a pay leave. The state and businesses are kind of undertaking that. If you have a child, you can take. I don't know how many weeks makes be, but tomorrow we're gonna,
Up to
you
20
know,
weeks.
yeah, the deputy commissioner of D is gonna be on here tomorrow.
Either
Educating us
parent
about
or just a mother.
Huh?
both,
Anybody?
both, both.
Both.
Our
Yep.
state is a great state, though, man. I mean, it's a great state for family. The two people I blame for all of this, our Somali brother and Jackie and step into some things there. But anyway, that's a whole nother, that's a whole nother day. But hey, but it's a great state, actually. It's a great state. So tomorrow, the deputy commissioner is going to be here. Why, you want to speak for your people or what you want to say? Miss B?
Yes, they are not messing up our economy. ICE is messing up our economy. With all
Okay.
the so-called fraudulent, we weren't shaken at all by it. But now we are when our businesses have to be closed and losing 50 to 100% of their income. That is what's shaking up our economy, not the fraudulent stuff that's been discovered.
Okay. Okay.
Just
Well,
want to put that out there.
we'll leave it at that. Deputy Commissioner is going to be here tomorrow, Peterson. So it's going to be a great show, right? As Peterson said, the way he started this segment, people should check us out because, and yeah, myself said, yeah, Peterson, this year is going to be a good year for us. And we've got a lot of great guests coming on. We're working on a lot of great things. And we're going to also hit the road. We'll be coming to Chicago as well, Peterson, so we can all do a segment together. So,
All right.
well, anyway, folks, it's been a great show. We'll see you guys back here tomorrow. Thank you everyone for joining us. You all have a good night.
From mental
Good night,
health
everyone.